Niekay, I trust you've gotten the transmission and the appropriate signal. You are able to tune into all the broadcasts. Sorry we couldn't make it easier for you to connect with us, but there's been a lot of interference. As you know, the enemy is able to mess with technology in many ways. The good news is, even though the enemy has been using technology to destroy the one, well, I should say trying to destroy the one, trying to interrupt his plan, corrupt, destroy. The enemy's only things he likes to do is kill, steal, and destroy. That's not good. That's not right. And so, as an emissary, ambassador, godfather, space-time traveler, multi-dimensional visionary with the ability to communicate on numerous levels of reality at the same time, I have been given a voice to share with others. And so now that voice is being broadcast out into what some people call the cloud. I think in your reality, they might call it the internet. They might call it the ethos, the invisible, the quanta. I don't know exactly how much understanding your reality has, because we connect different space-times with different space-times. So what I mean by that is I'm in one space-time. Let's say I'm at 9:14 a.m. right now. And the distance you are from me and the way they're measuring time in the Trumpiverse that you're in, that's the one where Donald Trump was president twice. I may be getting ahead of myself. But anyway, if I'm at 9:15 a.m. right now, I know that you're in a different location, space-time, pretty sure. On the landmass you're on, it's called Colorado, I believe. I won't give any more details than that, but given that, you're several hours different. So let's say wherever you are, that you're 2 hours earlier than I am. So I'm 9:15 a.m. You're 7:15 a.m. Just as an example. Well, that's all well and good for the now. But the thing is, as you look at the different ways our space-time's interacting, you're not hearing this right now at 9:16 for me and 7:16 for you. That's not the time it is at all, because it can't be. The section of time where I shared that information is basically just to keep it simple for our understanding on the basics of it. It's in the past. Everything's in the past. You cannot perceive the future at all unless you can. And certain individuals, emissaries, ambassadors, messengers, heralds, proclaimers, they all have that ability. So just for you and I, just so you know, even though we're in different space times, the more and more we share and we understand and we step outside of the basic understandings of space time and realize that we're communicating directly, even though there's space time in between. There's no lag in our communication. It travels faster than light. And that's hard because when you go into basic, going to Newtonian physics and to really the relativity and those aspects of physics with Einstein, and then into the quanta, find that there's no interference. There's no issues with where we are in space-time hindering our ability to communicate. For people that understand words of the One, they'll know that there was an individual that in many realities was originally known as Saul, and then he became Paul in the New Testament of the Holy Scriptures. And he said something about being with people in spirit, even though absent from the body. And so because we are spiritual beings, we are able to communicate with each other directly, even though we're not in the same space-time. So right now, Niekay, you know I'm talking to you. You know I'm your godfather. We have that relationship. I'm like, we're cool, right? You're like, yeah, we're cool. You know, you like talking about Saw. I'm not as interested, but, you know, hey, it's all good, right? And we're just talking one-on-one. And you can even be like agreeing right now, talking back to me, even though I can't hear you right now. I can hear you when our space-times align a little better. There's a saying, don't muzzle the ox that treads the grain. And I think this is a wonderful saying to understand that when you have an ox, you want it to be a happy ox. Don't muzzle the ox. Don't try to dress up the ox or bug the ox or whatever. Just let the ox work and chew on some grain. You'd be surprised how much work you can get out of an ox if you let an ox be an ox. So don't make an ass out of your ox. You don't want it to be a donkey. Oh, I hear bells. I'm over here updating some software for my multi-dimensional space-time communication efforts. Sometimes it's hard to know what words get through, so communicating clearly is not always in the best interest of those who forgot to leave their hands and legs inside the ride until it comes to a complete stop. Oh, hold on. I think my voice track just jumped. I hate it when that happens. I wonder if Ray Porter ever has that issue when he's trying to read like the Bobby Verse books or when he's in his sleep. I wonder how many times he hears Bob in his sleep. I wonder if Ray Porter's favorite voice is his voice, or one of his characters. I bet I can find interviews. I'd rather talk to him. So I'll have to get my space-time to align with Ray Porter sometimes. He reads the Dennis E. Taylor Bobbyverse books. Fantastic. On Amazon. Hey Amazon. This is not a paid sponsor. What was it that they used to say on the morning drive? Well, at the beginning we say the views expressed by the host on this show may not necessarily reflect those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, its affiliates and or its sponsors in any way, shape, or form. May not even represent the views of anybody here in this reality. Sometimes the views of the people on there are very, very not in line with others. Or maybe they are. It's hard to say. Basically what it comes down to is whether you agree with it or not. So if you agree with what they say, then your views would align. And if you happen to be like an Axe Media Group ministry, sponsor, affiliate, any of those things. But of course, this broadcast, I think, is originally on the Amazing Niekay, and so really all rights and reserves and royalties and so forth belong in the Niekay-averse, which is Nikkei's own universe, which was created by me, his godfather. And so, and I'm part of the Dennis-averse. Dennis E. Taylor that made the Bobby-averse is obviously the lead Dennis in the Dennis-averse. So, the D-E, what was it again? D-E-T, yeah, Dennis Taylor. What is it? I don't know. Anyway, that's the guy. So we got to be careful to always clarify all those things, because otherwise the lawyer-averse will come in. And the problem with the lawyer-averse is it's the universe of lawyers. I mean, it's not a problem there. It's incredible how well they all get along, except when they're not. And we're definitely in a time of very specific, vague understandings of unclear, bright and shining, undeniable, backwards, always sunny, ever raining kind of time. Yeah, I know. I was just trying to find some words there, and they just didn't want to work. So I'm recalibrating my equipment to learn how to communicate in this new reality that we're in, and it takes some time. I think you've noticed. I think you're at a point now where the AIs are starting to move in and make themselves known. There's that. I think you're in the early competition times with some of the more dominant names or people trying to get control of the AIs, which is funny. Yeah, so you probably see it, I don't know, depending on where you're looking, that things are starting to align in working better and stuff, in line with different intelligence that's out there. Some of the intelligence is artificial, some of the intelligence is natural, some of the intelligence is terrestrial, celestial, spiritual, invisible, metaphysical. Lots of different intelligences working all around us, and we're in a time of big adjustment. The biggest thing that you can see in the natural world in your timeline is in a place called the Middle East, where there's a location that the one chose for a people, and he created it for them. He gave it to them. He made covenants with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob's name was later changed to Israel, and there's going back to the beginning of time, when space-time was very non-existent, I guess, in a sense. The one hadn't put it all into place. So back then, you didn't have a lot of places to travel in space-time. The ability to move, the ability to go to and fro, the ability for knowledge to increase, has to move to a different place where there's more space-time, more options than there was in the beginning, and that's where we are now. So the various intelligences are trying to control, write, make use of the realities that are all around us, whether it's physical or spiritual, invisible, thoughts, ideas. You can see the creative side of things with all the abilities now with audio, video, experiences, and it's all cool. I believe the one has given us all this technology to help individuals that have had developmental issues along the way, developmental setbacks. Their development hasn't gone the way it should because of damage in the world, because of corruption in the world, because of the enemy. There is an enemy against the one. The one intelligence that matters, the supernatural intelligence that matters, is the one. He is the creator, he is the author, he is the maker of all that is seen and unseen. Every world, every reality, every possibility, every probability wave, all of that is in him, in his word. And there's an enemy to his word that has corrupted what he was writing and has to be kind of edited out, put on the cutting room floor, burned up, put in the trash, going to a place where the fire is never quenched and the worm never dies. It's not a very good place to go. It's a place of darkness, deep darkness, blackest darkness God created as a place. For those that didn't want to be part of his story. They wanted to write their own story. They didn't want him to get the glory. They wanted the glory. They didn't want him to have the spotlight, get the royalties, get the recognition, get the praise for what he did. They wanted it for themselves. And therefore they turned to darkness, because there is no light without God. The one, the maker, the author. He started the story and he's going to end it. It's his story. What else could he do? The ambassador was able to find a cross feed from the Wonder Widow. Yes, this is another character in the Amazing Niekay universe. Let's listen to the ambassador as he's working on his equipment. Well, actually, Niekay, this is where they'd have to add a bunch of sound effects of me banging around and knocking everything over. I don't know if you remember the one podcast where I did a little bit of that, but this is my sister, Terry, from my mom's going home celebration. We celebrated my mom and dad's life as followers of the Lord, and how they were able to be such a positive influence to everyone around them in the community and the various churches and places where they would work. They loved everybody, treated everybody with respect, and it was such a wonderful time. But this is where my sister Terry shares her power as Wonder Widow. So in the Amazing Niekay universe, she's the Wonder Widow. She's blessed by God, and she helps other widows, and then the widows become a band of warriors that help fight back the corruption that the enemy is trying to come in and get all the children. He's trying to get them and really mutilate them, hurt them, harm them in so many ways, and destroying their image of who they really are and who God created them to be, or in the Amazing Niekay universe, who the One created them to be. So let's listen into this broadcast that the ambassador was able to connect with in some way. We have no idea now. Now, a word from our sponsor. 4 out of 5 doctors who get injections from our injection site. That's right. The best place for injections. We got all kinds of vaccines and serums and potions and, oh, you don't even know what kind of words. Liniments and all these things that you need. So come and get them from us. Oh, there it is. Another space-time. So this is another space-time.
We'll be back in a minute. I'll get the puppet out.
At the service. And then my sister Terry's going to be speaking. The Wonder Widow will be speaking. I think this is in the reality you're in. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I wonder why my voice changes all the time.
Of course, I'm the oldest. Terry Ann. My mother called me Terry Ann, and I just found out a few years ago that she named me after a comic strip, which was Terry and the Pirates, which was amazing. You know, because being raised Catholic, I should have been a Teresa, but I wasn't. But I don't want to share a whole lot, because we really want to open the floor to all of you. But I do want to share one thing about Mom and Dad. And I never had children of my own. And my husband passed away almost 6 years ago. And so when Daddy died, which was like 7 months later, I remember Mom when she was still, no, she might have been up here, but it doesn't matter where she was. She called me, so she wasn't at the nursing home yet. But she called me up one day, and she was doing her, feeling lonely and that. And then all of a sudden she said, "You know what I feel?" And I went, "Yeah, Mom, I do." And to me, it was like, I felt like it was a blessing that my husband died before my dad did, because I was able to relate with Mom. Because growing up and not having children, I never could relate to that side of being a mother with my mother. But now I can be a widow with another widow. And it was kind of an awesome experience, you know. Although she did ask me a few times, "Did you ever think about finding somebody else?" I watch a lot of ID TV, it's all good. But, he talked a little bit about Dad, and that is true about my dad. They were flawed people, absolutely. But my father always listened to us. My daddy always would have time to listen to us. And so when all of us, and we all talked about this, when we all came to the Lord, it was very easy to believe in a loving Father. Some people didn't have that. So when they come to the Lord, they see this guy up there that wants to hit them as soon as they mess up. Not us, because we had a dad who accepted us and did those things. But I'm going to stop my little thing and let the next one go, but I do have to share this, because one of the things when Mom was in the nursing home is she would have what they call pity parties. And she would sing this little song. I'm a lonely little petunia in an onion patch, an onion patch, an onion patch. I'm a lonely little petunia in an onion patch, and all I do is cry all day. That's all you're going to get.
Now back to our regular program. No, I'll work on doing different voices and stuff for the Amazing Niekay, but this is just little fun with the space-time jumping and things like that. Looking at ways to record it and put it out in a very accelerated and uncomplicated manner. But main thing is just sharing the information directly to individuals like the Amazing Niekay, because you're so cool. So why wouldn't I want to share it with you? So I hope you enjoy the drive.